Dude, guess what?
What?
I pulled it.
Like a muscle?
No, I would never pull a muscle. Guess. I pulled the VMAX Charizard.
What? Are you kidding me? Dude.
It was
Did you just
I don't know what was
did
better.
you take off all your clothes? Did all your clothes just burn off instantly and you just ran around the house like freaking out?
You know, it's actually not far off from that because I yelled so loud. It was as loud as Goku yelled when he went Super Saiyan the first time. I felt like I actually had power that I didn't have before.
Wow. That's amazing though. Like, so for real though, you pulled that card. I can't, like, dude, that is wild.
Yeah, it was. Let's just say it was an experience. I didn't know how it was going to feel, and I do know that it felt good now.
Yeah, I pulled the other one from Darkness Ablaze that's all over the packs. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the VMAX one.
Did you pull a Cinescorch or Grimmsnarl?
Grimmsnarl, yeah.
Yeah, I have that one too, sitting over here.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Oh, you know what? Pulling Pokemon cards and opening packs is literally like it is crack cocaine. It is actually like scratching the itch. But you know the craziest thing is it's literally turned into investment for people like us and a little bit older. I mean, yeah. Logan Paul, the YouTuber, just did a video where he paid $200,000 for a base set booster box of Pokemon cards. How awesome is that?
That is wild, dude. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I might have paid like $200 for the past couple boxes, but you know, we're all gonna stay in our lane.
What are we doing here? Yeah. So are you keeping any of these packs like aside? Like you'll open some and then like keep some aside just to save to sell later, or like you just like going full in opening?
So yes and no. I've been opening them. I did not get any extra Darkness Ablaze, but they're still available for the regular price. Once they start like kind of stop being available, I will get a box and just put it in the closet.
Yeah, we still have a lot of Darkness Ablaze at the store here in town.
Yeah,
but they sold out of Champions Path because like I think one dude, which is I know for sure because he's my friend, he bought them all.
Yeah. Well, I haven't checked the local store, but I basically bought everything that was available to buy at like GameStop online.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, because they would only limit you to like a couple boxes of per collector's editions. It was Champions Path has been ridiculous because of the main. Actually, there's two cards. There's the VMAX Charizard, the same card that I pulled, but in a Rainbow Rare, and the regular Charizard V, and those are both going close to $1,000, like anywhere from $750 to $1,000 if you can sell that card. That is nuts,
dude. That is wild.
So you could go out and buy $500 worth of Champions Path, and if you pulled one of those cards, you would have made money.
Yeah, that's just insane. Yeah, I feel like Champions Path is going to be the hidden fates of this set. You know, the Sword and Shield run. You know, because how like Hidden Fates was the real rare one that everybody's buying up online still. Which I picked up some of the reprints of those. I'm pretty excited. Got 5 boxes.
I'm so jealous. Yeah, and you know why that is because the it's called like the holiday set, or like the pre-holiday set, and
Gotcha.
And what the reason that is they're so rare is because number one is every pack of Champions Path and or at least Champions Path has at least a holo in it, so you're basically guaranteed to get something cool in every pack. There's Elite Trainer boxes and sets boxes, and you can buy like the packs on themselves, but you can't buy booster boxes, like full 36-pack boxes of Champions Path. So that makes them just more rare alone because the packs are always going to be more expensive because they were never sold in like an actual just box, which normally makes the price go down. So
nice.
Just yeah, and it's every year they release one set. Last year was Hidden Fates. This one's Champions Path that they do that with, and they always put like some of the best cards in there. So just the way it goes.
Yeah, I bought one from the local comics shop, the gym set of Champions Path, the gym leader with the little water pin in it, and my son actually opened his pack and it had the Incineroar V in it, which was cool. It's not VMAX, but it's pretty cool still.
Either way, and Incineroar is awesome.
Yeah,
but Man, welcome back. It was so glad to be back here talking to everyone. Hello, everyone. We went on a big hiatus for a little bit, but we're back. We're going to be changing things up big time. We can talk about, but more than anything else, we're just it is funness about to go down on this podcast.
You're not kidding, man. Because I mean, we're just to start off, like as we talked about weeks ago on our last show, we're not going to be doing retro video games anymore. So this is going to be more of just like an open kind of chat. We talk about whatever's tickling us in the nerd way, like that week.
Yeah.
So pretty cool though. Yeah. Pretty excited to be back overall. So.
Exactly. So yeah, just a couple like the things that I know a lot of people are into. Hopefully you're into one of these things, and we can add some entertainment for you. But definitely, kind of one thing that we've done before is gaming news, like just in a broader sense. Of course, we are console and PC gamers, so any sort of new gaming news that is in the up and up, or it's going to be something that's interesting, we're going to talk about it.
And I would say that stretches gaming, like comics, like movies, all of that kind of mixed into one too, so
exactly. So yeah, that just obviously just expands, because that's the next thing is like we'll be doing movie reviews, and then definitely Mason, because Mason has such a good knowledge of comics, especially new ones. So we'll be able to talk about comics, just different genres, and even tabletop games, which we're both, and board games as well, which we both have like such a love for. So we can just do reviews on those, talk about what we're into, and hopefully be able to play some like on a video, or do something like that, like on a live stream would be really,
that'd be
really
so cool.
Good. So it's going to be great. We're bringing back everything that's good about being a nerd.
Yeah, and you know what? In a retro video game here and there, but like we just wanted to expand our audience and broaden the horizons. So here we are today. Also, you'll notice we are a man short. Aaron is no longer going to be a regular on the podcast, so just got some things he's got to take care of. But you'll see him occasionally popping in and out, and we hope to have some more guests on as well, some more of our friends to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that me and you will just be staple. Not will. We will be staples on the podcast. Just we're going to do this thing together, kind of like we did before. But in the future, Aaron will definitely be back on. He's always welcome here, always welcome, 100% always welcome. He just has a little bit of a busier schedule, or just things he's got to take care of. So whenever he wants to be able to can join us, he will. And then we're definitely going to be able to have some other people, hopefully some guests, and just some friends. Obviously, our gaming community and friends are large, so it'd be nice to have some personalities and people who are, I think at least for both of us, like we like so much stuff. But like, I don't know if either of us are like, just for instance, even like the Power Rangers, like you have such a good view on it, but you're not it's some of our friends are just people in general. That's all they do is that one thing. So it'd be cool to have them like almost like to have some experts in the different genres that we want to talk about on the show, because I'm like a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, same. Like I do a lot of different stuff too, but I really I'm a big Ranger fan. So like I'm in all the groups and on all the Twitters and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like chomping at the bit for that stuff. And it's a really exciting time to be a Ranger fan too. So
exactly.
But yeah, so just kind of going into it, like some gaming talk, like what's been up? Like what have you been playing recently?
Oh man, so probably a lot of the same old, but then, adding some new stuff in as well. I know that we haven't played it together, but the game that's taken the world by storm is this game Among Us. And I know, I'm sure that the listeners will have played it. It's like it went from, I think, having like an average of under 1,000 players per month to having like 10 million.
Wow.
In the course of just a little bit, and all the major streamers and people are playing it. And the reason they're playing it, and because it's so fun to play and it's so fun to watch, because essentially what the game is about, if you haven't played it yet, or you've just maybe seen it and people are playing it, is it's basically like it's a game of Mafia almost. Where
nice.
There's the crew, and then there's what's called two imposters, and they're essentially aliens, and that's why it says like there's two imposters among us, right? and that's how you set the game up. And you're on a spaceship, and you have to fix the spaceship, and the two imposters are trying to kill everybody. And every time you see a dead body, or you can press the like basically talk button, and you all convene, and over normally Discord you talk, or you can just do just a chat only. You talk about who do you think it is, and either if you want to eject them out of the spaceship, and if you have to eject the two imposters out, and that's how you win the game. Or if the imposters end up killing everyone down to just basically the equal number how many imposters you have, they win the game.
Oh,
so
I see.
It is. We will 100% have to play it together, because I know you haven't played it, but it's so much fun to play, and it's so much fun to live stream and have other people watch, because the amount of lies, deceit, and if you're a crewmate, you're like Sherlock Holmes. You're trying to figure out who is the the imposters, and you're also trying to, because the imposters are trying to pin it on different people, and you're having to maybe defend yourself, because
awesome.
they'll frame you. It's a wonderful game. So been playing that a little bit, and then just the normal. I like just the same competitive stuff. Hearthstone is probably one of my biggest ones, and they just released the new Elementals patch for that. Nice. Super great. It's really overpowered right now, but it's fun. It's just new and fresh. And then of course competitive Pokemon, which I will be streaming as well. I've been streaming Hearthstone, but competitive Pokemon is something that I just love, because everyone in the podcast here loves Pokemon. Competitive Pokemon's just like the chess game of Pokemon, which is really fun. And then hopefully we've been doing some World of Warcraft too. Just waiting for the new expansion to drop.
Yeah, that's kind of comes to a big topic, which they've pushed it back. They pushed back the Shadowlands.
Yeah, I know I'm probably the only World of Warcraft player left on this podcast, but there is a lot of us out there still.
Yeah,
and they had a drop date, which would have been at the end of October.
Yeah,
but actually it was the week the Tuesday following my brother's wedding, which is kind of hilarious, but because he wasn't going to be able to play it because he's on his honeymoon.
Yeah, they did it for him so he could have a couple months before it comes out.
Exactly. And it was so, as much as I'm a little bummed it's not going to come out as soon as it was planned. I love when game developers just say, hey, we don't want to do this because we want it to be special, and we want it to be what we really envisioned. And this expansion over probably at least the last one, there's a lot of new stuff. Like, they're changing a lot and they're adding a lot. And there's been the pandemic, so they're it's just a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah.
So they just said, hey, we could probably put it out, but it's not really where we want it to be. So let's just back off. Let's just hold off, and you guys are going to be happier with it long term. Mm-hmm. And that was the right call. 100%.
A lot of respect on them for that, for coming out and saying that rather than releasing like a broken product, like where people are going to complain. And I know the gaming community themselves were like, yeah, Blizzard, good on you, because like they want a full game that's going to be free of some of these bugs that would have been present if the latter had happened. So really, that's pretty cool that they decided to do that. And even though I'm sure that's a bummer for some people who have been anticipating it for a long time, it's still just going to be a better product at the end of the day.
100%. So that's fine. That definitely is some gaming news that obviously we wanted to mention, just because it has been delayed. So if you're looking forward to that, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. There's still actually the pre-patch is coming out October 13th.
Yeah, so, I saw that. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah. That's still coming. So there's definitely stuff to do before the expansion drops. It's just gonna be a little bit more of time between the pre-patch and the actual, obviously when the expansion itself drops. But they did the right thing, and we're gonna be happy for it in the end.
Yeah, for sure. Another game that I've been playing, not sponsored by Google Stadia, but I finally broke down and bought a Google Stadia, and I've been playing the Avengers game with Aaron a lot. And have you played the Avengers yet?
So no, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I know you would, because I wanted to talk to you about it, because the reviews of Avengers has been very mixed.
Yeah.
Because it's people have been saying it's not a horrible game, but you have to really, really, really like Marvel to think that this is a great game, or to play it long term. And there's also some, I think, is it the gear or the leveling system people really don't like. One of the
Um,
two.
probably the gear system. I would
Maybe
say
it's the gear system. People were
yeah.
just like not liking that at all. So what do you think?
Leveling itself is pretty what you'd expect out of a game like this, like a combat fighter. The gear is kind of weird because it's just like you go on missions and you collect gear, and then you can kind of like upgrade the gear as you go. Um, but yeah, it's definitely kind of weird because there's tiers of gear. I just think it's kind of basic how they've done it. With just how it's laid out. The story itself is cool and really good, and it's just a visually stunning game, as we knew it would be. Something coming from Square and Crystal Dynamics. But I think it's I don't know. Like I land kind of in the middle with it. Like I really enjoy playing it, but yeah, I do agree that you have to like really be into Marvel to love it. And I don't know if I would land on loving it, but I did enjoy playing the campaign out, and I'm looking forward to more. And they're really working with this game, so I think over time it's going to be made better as well. Just once they figure out kind of build a path out for it as users kind of identify things. And there's definitely been some buggy stuff about it, but overall I don't hate it, and it's really fun. I think it'd be cool if you got a Stadia and got in with us to play. With on there, because like it's definitely more fun when me and Aaron have played it together. Just because like we're doing missions, and
Sure.
there's even in the campaign you can do a lot of those missions with people. So me and Aaron would get to a same point in the campaign, and we'd do missions together, or he'd be ahead of me and I'd invite him to one of the missions. He's like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that because that was such a fun mission. So I really think the team up of it is all really fun. I just I think the biggest thing for me is with the whole leveling system and dividing it out between characters and stuff. If you really want your characters to be good, you have to play them all in a lot. You have to like spread the love around. Like I played basically the whole game as Iron Man, just because I liked the ranged about him and how he maneuvered and stuff. Aaron hated Iron Man. Aaron hates Iron Man. He's a Black Widow guy. So like at the end of the game, Iron Man was like my strongest character, and he was way overpowered. So no spoiler really, but in the last fight, you play all the characters that you are available throughout the fight. And so like everybody else is way underpowered, and the Iron Man part was the shortest in the parts. You're just flying around hitting one of the last bosses. And, it was just kind of funny. But I think the cool thing about the game is, like I said, it's a work in progress, and there's so much more story to be told here because they're going to be adding story points to the game. Like Kate Bishop is coming this month, November. Hawkeye's coming. Sometime in PlayStation's putting out Spider-Man sometime first of the year, and they're just going to be adding more to it. So overall, the team up aspect's really fun though, and we definitely have had a lot of fun doing missions together. But I would love to play with you to see if you like love it or hate it. Just because I'm more of the like side of it. Aaron actually really likes it, and he's had a lot of fun with it. But at least from what I know, because we played together. But like, I'd like to see your take on it as well.
For sure. Yeah, I would be. I'd be fine with playing. I'd be fine with just playing it in general. But I do have the kind of the next question for you is, how is your experience with the Stadia? Because we always joke, right? We're the Stadia podcast, but since you actually have one now, what is your experience? And here's the next thing: is I know that we'll get into this part of the news. Xbox Series X and PS5 have they're dropping in the next what they're coming out in the next 2 months.
Yeah. November, actually in about a month. November 12th, PlayStation drops.
Right, November 12th, and then I think the Xbox is within like a week or two. It's pretty close. Is Stadia will Stadia be around after those consoles drop? Do you think that it's going to be even worth it to do Stadia? Performance-wise, do you think the Stadia works really well? I guess that's what because basically, if you look at the performance, and I'll just bring it up real quick, the Stadia, obviously the technology that it's using, it's a remote server room or a remote like computer, that is powering your games and then projecting it just like Netflix does, like in 4K back to your TV. And it's running at 10.7 teraflops, which is real. I mean, that is almost exactly what the PS5 is. Yeah. So you're essentially running, and I'm sure there's gonna be some differences in there. The PS5 will always look better because of it being native.
Yeah.
And the PS5 and Xbox Series X have little things in there that actually are really, really, really good for like ray tracing, like the next light engine and stuff like that. But I mean, that's still a very, very powerful thing. What's been your experience with Stadia? Because we obviously kind of heard Aaron's. Like, do you think it's going to hold up? Like a 1 out of 10 on the graphics? Is there lag? What do you think?
I have a mixed thing about this. I hate to say like I've really liked it because Aaron has talked it up for so many months, and I just don't want to say he's right. But no, but I actually have really liked it. I've had a very stable experience, great looking experience, and I play in the other room, away from my internet, all this kind of stuff. They actually have a wired setup you can use, like built into the Chromecast, which is cool. So if you want to wire it up and make it even better. But I had one night where it was a little choppy, but other than that, I've had totally never blanked out on me, never had a disconnection throughout, playing hours of it. Me and Aaron have played a lot together, and it's been really smooth. So I think they're working out their thing, but can I say will Stadia last? I don't know. I think they need to change up their model a little bit because it's the pay thing, and you get like a Netflix worth of games and kind of thing like that. Is the subscription kind of thing is cool. And I also like that you don't have to pay for it and you can just buy games straight out. Like, for instance, I bought Avengers. I'm not paying the monthly sub on it, but I can jump in and play Avengers anytime I want because I have it on and also between computer and home. Like, I can play it at work, I can play it on my computer, I can play it here. But yeah, it's been actually a really stable and I feel like it's been a good purchase, and I really love that controller. So that's been...
Yeah, the controller's been... And the controller makes a big difference. It's funny. Yeah. We always talk about the specs and everything, but it'll be interesting to see once we both get our hands on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X controllers to see which one feels... And I know the Xbox Series X did change theirs, but minimally, and PS5 really changed theirs from PS4 to 5. So
yeah,
I'm interested.
I didn't pre-order the PS5, but I am going to buy one of those controllers because you can use it on PS4. I'm just not ready to buy the hardware for the hardware aspect because I bought the last two systems from them at launch, the Pro and the PS4 itself. Hardware issues out the wazoo. And even my Nintendo Switch, I bought my Nintendo Switch at launch, hardware issues still, like with the controller, with the Joy-Cons. And and those were like known issues and things like that. And I just never did the warranty. But like, so I didn't buy it at launch this time, but I will grab that controller to play on my PS4 Pro. And plus, like, the launch games for what I really wanted, I just wasn't ready to pre-order it. So I just would rather wait another 6 or 8 months, work some bugs out, maybe buy it holiday of next year or something. So
yeah, I think that's, obviously that's going to be a thing just with first generations. Whenever the first, couple thousand consoles go out on anything, you're going to have some hardware bugs. The good thing about manufacturers these days, like for instance, my Switch controllers, same thing. I had a problem with them. I gave those controllers to my nephew and niece.
Yeah.
And I left them at their house, and I was just said, you can just have them because they don't really work that great. Yeah. And my sister actually said, I mean, this is what, how many years has the Switch been out? 3?
Yeah.
This is 3 years later. She literally just took the serial code from them, sent them in, and they gave her new controllers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I need to do that too then because mine's
stuck. And I would have never done that because I'm just not very good at like sending things in, or I just want it to work, or I'll just buy a new one. It's just a character fault in mine, but they will honor, like, I know that it's the same thing with Xbox, PS5, Nintendo. They're going to honor their products because it makes them, they want people to buy their games and to buy the next, hardware and stuff. So, I think that if that is a problem for like people who are on the fence, I think that you should just, if you can find one, because they're out of stock everywhere, if you can find one, then yeah, you can go ahead and buy one and they'll probably be fine. But waiting a little bit, especially because the only real exclusive that you'll probably want to play is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Then
I'll get it on
I don't
PS4 and played it. But it was tugging at my heartstrings this week when they released because they're doing the remastered of the original PS4 Spider-Man. They remastered it and changed the actor and everything who plays Peter Parker, and it looks so good. And I was like, oh man, I don't know, but obviously it's sold out and I missed the boat. But if they had some in stock now, I probably would have ended up pre-ordering it. But at the time, why I didn't pre-order, I had it in my cart, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait the hardware situation. So I just want to buy something that works. So
totally understand.
And I don't have to hassle with the warranty and all that. And I think I don't know when Final Fantasy 16 is coming out and things like that, but I want some bigger titles too that I actually want to play, rather than just buying this and playing PS4 games that come out for the next 2 years. So on it.
Yeah. So just going back to our previous conversation a little bit with the Google Stadia, I just want to get I want to give people, because since you have one, a good representation. Do you think it looks a lot better than your PS4 Pro?
Well, I've been playing it on just the 1080 because I'm not paying the subscription, but I did have the subscription the first month I had Avengers, and it looked good. I mean, and I go over to Aaron's house, and I literally don't tell a console difference, because he has like a 70-inch TV, and like we've played over at his place and played some NBA and stuff like that, and it looks really good and it runs super smoothly. So I think they have that aspect of it down. I think they just my biggest struggle with Stadia is they got Avengers, which was a big launch and a big get,
but they don't have every big launch.
Some of these other big gets they're not getting. Like I was like for instance, a smaller game like Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons that came out yesterday. We're recording this on Saturday. It's one of those games that they probably could have got, and it's complete crossplay, like the whole thing, and they probably will get it eventually, but not getting it at launch is kind of a bummer, So because
that's not just a bummer. It's that ruins anyone's experience. Because when is the game? When do you want the fun game that everyone's playing?
Yeah.
To play, you want it to play the first week, the first month, because some games, they're going to go on for the next year or whatever, if they're really popular. But a lot of these games, for the first 3 months is the only, or maybe even the first month is the time that there's so many people online playing, and you want to play with all your friends because it's hyped up. So if you're getting it 2-3 months later, then the train is passed.
Yeah. Like I said, as far as as far as the product itself, I think it puts out really good vibes, and I really like the way it's going. I just think they need to figure out how to get into some of these big titles at launch, and I don't know if that's licensing, and maybe license like PlayStation, Xbox have a certain licensing to the big games first, and maybe that'll be up, and they can all negotiate new prices or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it just seems ridiculous to me, and that's what really deters me from it. Like I said, I got it so I could play Avengers, because Avengers isn't cross-play through platforms, or I would have bought it on PlayStation just so I could play Avengers, so me and Eric could play together. And I don't regret the decision at all, because one, I love the controller, and two, it's been really stable and really fun. So, but did you see that Amazon's doing their own Stadia called Luna? And they're positioning theirs is like a legitimate Netflix. Like you can't buy games outright. So it's going to be just a game streaming service that and then they're going to have gaming channels. So like Ubisoft's going to be their first one, and you're going to have all the new titles from Ubisoft in for like a certain upgrade to the subscription fee. I don't know if you've seen that or not. And they have their own controller and things like that.
So have I seen it? Yes, I did know that it existed. I didn't know if they were how far along they were, or what the controller looks like or anything. I have not done enough research to give a, I think, accurate opinion, except for the fact that the games in general are such a multi-billion-dollar industry. The players for for Amazon, Netflix, whatever, all these massive companies, Spotify, they're going to try to get their monies and like a niche in the space, because there's so much money in it. And there's pretty much realistically, there's two high-end players, because it's only Xbox versus Sony versus Microsoft. and then Nintendo kind of fills that third, like the other, 30 or 50% of the market, with, because it's more of just like even though you can play it at home, it's more of just like they market it as their mobile thing, which obviously they're coming out with another one that's going to maybe even be more of like an HD Nintendo system,
Right.
potentially Switch Pro coming, spring 2021. So I'm not surprised, and I'm not surprised that people are trying to do what Stadia has done, and do like basically and have like the streaming platform, because what has everyone found out from Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, what like I don't know, all these fitness apps on your phone, pay $10 and we'll send you fitness videos, is subscriptions make dumb money. They bring in the bucks. Because
that's a lot of how my business works too. It's like that's the way of the world, and that's awesome. If you can pay a couple months, those things add up after a while, but like that's such a good business model if it's something that's honest.
Yeah, and then two is basically that what you're paying, like for instance Netflix, you pay $10 a month, $15 a month. I can pay that for especially what you get. But if they do that and they can like replicate that millions of times, they're getting so much money to be able to give you a product back. So it's really just about scale, rather than like, oh, we can sell you this one game one time for $50.
Yeah.
But all that money is going to go to that one company. We can just license all of these things out and then just pay everyone a price. And what's eventually going to happen is they'll just have their own game studio, just like Netflix does, and Amazon has their own, Prime Video, whatever it is. Like their own studio that makes titles or exclusives. They can pay Ubisoft to do an exclusive for their own company. It's a genius move. Yeah. We'll just see who can actually like basically make it.
Hit the peg.
Hit the peg, because of course there's the money in the gaming industry to do this. Just who's going to do it and make it stick, and all the gamers are like, wow, this is awesome. Because I look at Stadia and I say, okay, well, this is a cool idea, but gamers don't like this. Like, this is not something that like hardcore gamers or just even whatever gamers, like, people don't really I don't think anyone really understands why this is good, because it's not, they don't have any backing from like exclusive games. Like again, Amazon could do, they could say, hey, we're going to do, you get 200 games with our subscription. We're never going to have like let you buy the game. As long as you pay your subscription, you can do it. But if, as soon as they get a certain number of subscribers, they're going to say, oh yeah, and we also have 5 exclusive games, one from Ubisoft, one from Square, one from Microsoft or whoever, Bungie, whoever did like Halo. And we're just going to pay that studio to do our game. And it's only going to be streamed on Amazon.
Yeah. Whatever
that is. But because they paid for the entire thing.
Right.
Well, that's something that would be like, yeah, like I want the exclusive game. I want to play this, and it's only 10. And especially from like a parent's perspective, paying for your kid's gaming experience to buy a controller and $10 a month.
Yeah,
they spend more, and then of course you do skins. You pay them through.
Yep.
You pay them through something that's not going to affect the gameplay, but the aesthetics. That's how games make money now.
Some kind of microtransaction in between. Yep.
Yeah, that just doesn't affect gameplay.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about that, because the thing, the PS5 versus Xbox thing that's come out, basically the systems themselves are almost identical. Xbox Series X is just a little bit more powerful, but it's not. I don't think, after we look at it, because technically I think it's like a little less than 20% powerful. But after it's all said and done, I don't really know if you're going to see a massive difference in frame rates and just the quality of the games. It's more about exclusives and
exactly exclusives and what you're into as the consumer,
and what you're into is which ecosystem and of games and who you want to play with, on like what systems all your friends have and where are they going to play it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm in with crossplay. Even a lot of that's been eliminated nowadays.
It's been eliminated.
But yeah, the exclusivity, like, are you a Final Fantasy guy or are you a Halo guy, is basically where it's at, It's like, and for me, and, I've been a Final Fantasy, Sony guy for a long time, played all the Metal Gear games, just all those kind of exclusives, Spider-Man PS4 now, like all those exclusives that Sony has is just really interacted to me more than anything. I respect what Xbox is doing, and I think their xCloud is really cool.
Yeah.
It's just not for me, and those games don't interest me, so I'm not going to pay for it.
Right. So there's definitely consumers for both ends, but what you basically brought up my next point is why are you going to pay for Stadia when you can pay for the lesser Xbox, have a native hardware that's running all of these games, and they're giving you, I think, 2 years free of Xbox xCloud Gold Live, which has their library is insanely large right now.
And they just added EA Play to that, which is all the, if you're in Madden and all the sports games, like it's all in there now.
It's all in there for such a good price.
Yeah.
And it's going to run, you don't have to put all those on your hard drive because anything like
it's all cloud-based.
It's all cloud-based.
Same thing.
And which is, it's basically the same thing as Stadia, except your library's bigger and you're going to get all the exclusives. And for a PC user like myself, you can get like if that whenever you have Xbox Live or whatever it's called, xCloud, or it just got updated, but all those games transferred to your PC as well, so you can play all those originals, anything. So I guess in my mind, I'm just going like Xbox is doing it right this way around because they're separating themselves for why would you buy them versus a PS5?
Yeah,
right.
No,
they have something to offer. But why? But now the question is, why would you ever buy a Stadia?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because there's no exclusives to Stadia that have come out, so it's like not like you said, they haven't. Like I think Amazon's going into this in a way that's going to be cool because they've got an exclusivity with Ubisoft, and if you're into those games, you're going to get all those games for just a subscription fee. Assassin's Creed or whatever, like it's coming on that. I don't even know if that's Ubisoft. I think it is, right?
Yes, it is. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So you're going to get all these games and things like that, but Stadia has had none of that. Plus, like, they're so slight with support. It's like, yeah, you can play it on your computer, but I can't play it on my iPhone. I can't play it on my tablet. You can't use any other Chrome features. You can't use Fire Sticks. You can't use Apple TVs. And that's what I told Aaron. I was like, Amazon's launching with all this at launch, like you can use pretty much any device you want to play Luna on. You can play it on there, and Android's going to come because they're going to do a native experience with Android, whereas they're taking this browser support and using it with all these other products to make it fully compatible with any phone you want to pick up, So I think that's another thing they need to do. They need to figure out. So it's been frustrating, but like I said, I mean, I think they've got the stability down and things like that. I just think they need to get some stuff together on it because it's like it's lacking a lot. So and I'm definitely opening to the world of game streaming because like that's just such a cool way to play a lot of games and not have to store them on your hard drive, or have little to no, like, or just be able to pick up any device and play on it, like your smart TV or whatever, so.
Exactly. And
I think they've I don't know, man. I don't know what their thinking is, obviously, but it's just like it gets frustrating to me because I'm like, I want to take this into living room and play it on my Apple TV, but I can't, so because I'd have to unplug my Chromecast Ultra because it's the only Chromecast that comes out. Google had the big event this week where they announced the new Pixels and the new Chromecast TV, which they're going to have apps in. It's not going to be like a normal Chromecast where you just cast stuff to it. No Stadia support at launch with this new Chromecast TV. Yeah, if you want support, you have to sideload the bootleg app onto it to make it work. Like they're like, yeah, we're coming with it in 2021. It's like, get your stuff together. Like everybody else is launching with this support, and you're like, yeah, we'll come later to like Google native devices. It's just like weird to me. But anyway,
That's really strange.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like to me that obviously the Google says the first thing, and Google's the first one to kind of do this thing. But it sounds like, for instance, even like xCloud is so cool the way that they're doing it, and it has a lot to offer. And even let's say Amazon can do it their way and have a lot to offer at a good price point. Especially like, so here's another thing too is xCloud. It's not going to work on iOS.
Yeah.
But if Amazon can work on iOS
but see, Amazon
and Apple TV.
has found a way to work around it. Because so they're doing browser-based support for Safari on your device, on your Apple device, that's going to run natively in Safari. So they've found a way around the whole Apple policy and worked with Safari developers to create this experience on your mobile device. So if there's a will, there's a way. You know, all these other guys need to take note and figure that out, because that's the way you're going to have to do it if you're going to work with Apple, you know? So,
yeah, and there's a reason that people don't want to put their stuff on Apple's, because the app, just the same thing we've talked before. The Apple, their restrictions can be tough.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
What do? Yeah, you know what you can get on Apple as well? Google Chrome. Just
exactly.
I don't use Safari because I don't like Safari. I use Google Chrome on my iPhone. I like my iPhone. I don't want to get rid of my iPhone, but I like Google Chrome better. So just exactly what you're saying. Built it into Safari. Build it into a Chrome browser. Build it. You know what, Amazon, you're so stinking rich. Build your own browser and just let us download it from the App Store and just call it a browser. And
they have that as well.
Yeah. Don't. We don't need to pay. Apple. Just let us use it on an Apple device, please.
Exactly. So, and Amazon's coming with that at launch, and you can pretty much use it on any device at launch, which is cool. So, that's kind of my rant on that. It's like, I think streaming services are eventually going to be the way of the world, just because that's where life's headed. You know, it's like, I just think they need to figure out a way to like get exclusivities that people recognize in big games. Big games
for sure.
So.
I think the cool thing is, just to note on the Xbox and the PS5. So I know that you're not getting one at launch. I don't think I am either, because I haven't found one. And I just kind of forgot about it. There's no launch titles that are just like really scraping me right now. Yeah, but I know for a fact I'm going to buy both of these consoles, because I just want to do comparison. I don't know if I'll sell one of them after I do comparison for a while, probably, but I just know that I'm buying both of these. So I'm not against or for necessarily one or the other, because I just want to give them a fair chance. But I think that xCloud and like what Microsoft is offering is such a good value, and I think PS5 has the games, so it's gonna be interesting to play off. But I don't know if you know what an M.2 drive is, but they put M.2 hard drives in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and
which is so fast.
Yeah, I actually bought one for my PC. I have one on my PC right now. Yeah, it's they're getting reasonably priced, but so basically, just for the whoever's listening, if you don't know what that is, it's a hard drive, an SSD, which is in your computer probably right now, or if you bought one for like your Xbox, 1S or your PS5 or whatever, those speeds are about 550 megabits per second. So for load times, whenever you're loading a level in game and you're trying to do that, it's doing 500, and let's say there's gigs per, like if it's an open world game, there's gigs of information, then that's 550 megabits per second. That's why for sometimes it takes 30 seconds to load a level.
Yeah.
And an M.2 drive will load about 2.5 to 3.5 gigs per second.
Yeah, so you're talking seconds over minutes.
Seconds over minutes, and that's like such a cool thing to see. So even though a lot of this will be, like you can buy online and stream, like a lot of these will be streaming games, and even like on the Xbox and the PS5 side, they're gonna have that technology. A lot of like both of them are pretty much backwards compatible, like to a certain degree. Like some are better for other things, but they're really good on both ways. But the cool thing is when you download that game on your consoles, we are going to see a drastic reduction in loading times, which I'm so excited for.
Really cool. Yeah. And that kind of stuff is what are going to keep consoles alive. It's just like being so accessible and being so fast, I guess I would say. Because Stadia is pretty quick on load time, like Avengers loads, but there's definitely still load time. It's not like, oh, this is just instantly loaded right up into the thing. So
it's based on your internet connection, right?
I guess somewhat, but it loads. It takes a couple to load a game or something like that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, but anyway, it's just one of those things that, like I said, is going to keep consoles in the game.
Well, at least for me, and this is I want to get your opinion too. Because me and Parker talked about this, because what else happened while we were gone Nvidia launched the most ridiculous graphics cards that we've pretty much seen for the craziest prices too.
Yeah.
So the last round of graphics cards, they basically like one of the nicest, a graphics card that a lot of, content creators and gamers like myself and you would have bought was like the 2070. That's like kind of the staple of what a good graphics card was the last time. And I think it went from like, it's gone down up and down in price, but I believe it was like $700 to $1,000 depending on which model you got. In the 2000 series. The 3000 series, which is absurdly faster.
Yeah.
Like the biggest one, the big boy, the 3090 will do 8K gaming at 60 frames per second. Oh. And I didn't say 4K, 8K gaming. 8K. They don't even they have like literally one game that will do that right now. Yeah. But in general, it's just so absurdly fast. And the middle of the road one is $500. So the middle of the road GPU for $500 is, I think, it's double the speed, and it's double the speed of a PS5 and an Xbox Series 1X.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah,
and that's so cool, right? For PC gamers like myself who want to play games and just see the dumbest frame rates and stuff. But what the craziest thing is because I know you don't PC game, but there's a magic of plugging in a console to a 70-inch TV and playing it on the TV, and that's why I'm still going to get a console. Is sitting in my bedroom with a 70-inch TV and playing native 4K 60 with a surround sound and everything. Like, I don't know, man. That's still there for me.
And there's a lot of adventures to be played in those games too, so titles and things like that. But yeah, I definitely plugging into a TV and playing games is definitely always been right up my alley for sure. So
yeah, and I know that since you're a programmer, you can probably tell me this, but it seems like, at least the research I've done, is with consoles, you can't always just look at specs versus computer, because whenever developers are coding for a console, they're doing it in a way that is milking, because of consoles' cohesiveness together, you're just getting basically with less power, a better looking product. So even though, it's double the computing power on the new NVIDIAs, you're still going to see, it will be better looking on a PC, but how much better? Probably not like as absurd as it sounds.
Yeah, because it doesn't take the GPU to run it. Yeah. So
exactly
in the way it's designed is, is a lot more streamlined in the end, because with a PC you can do everything. And I was listening to some guys who develop, or this smaller company who develops one of the Power Rangers games, and he was talking about that very thing. He's like developing, because they have the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and it's cross play across every device you can think of: Stadia, PS4, Xbox, computer, Steambox, whatever you want to think about. And they were talking about that very thing. It's like they said coding the consoles are gravy, because they all run kind of in the same ecosystems. When you're doing PC, you're running in so many ecosystems, so it's kind of it's cool. It's cool how all that works.
Yeah, so I guess the point is even though, graphics cards are such at a cool place because they're relatively inexpensive for what you're getting, and you
have to be in that niche.
Yeah, but it's good. It's definitely a good time to be a PC gamer for price, and you don't have to spend $3,000 or $5,000. Before, I remember probably 15 years ago, Brian Scarmazzino, shout out Brian Scarmazzino. He spent, shout out. He was probably in his, 40s and still playing good old games, just like I'm going to be doing. And he spent $10,000 on his gaming PC.
Oh God.
And that's what it required to play online at the highest frame rates, and just not, just to just, he had to, that's what he had to pour into to play something where he felt like it was just, it was just the best.
Now something way better or comparable to timelines, is like 2,000, right?
Oh yeah, for the entire PC, is just, I mean, you can build for 2,000, you can build a monster.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's definitely a good time to be a PC gamer. I just think that for sure there's always going to be, at least in my heart, there's always going to be like that moment where I want to go play Final Fantasy VII on a 70-inch screen in like 4K 60 and have the surround sound and just not have to be, because I love my setup. I have these beautiful monitors, like it's great. I play a lot of games sitting where I'm right now, but
yeah,
man, I don't know. It's going to be pretty cool to be seeing like
that console experience.
Nah, not yet. I mean, maybe one day they're gonna have some cross-play with your own computer that powers it and your TV in the next room over. But for now, it's still, I think having a console is still very much viable and wanted.
Yeah, I'm such a hardcore consoler that I always would try to rig my TV up to play like World of Warcraft or something, like, and it's just not the same thing. Your mind's just whacked out because you're playing this game that's meant to be played on a smaller screen on a big.
Yeah, this massive UI or this tiny UI for a massive screen.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't sit a foot away from it like we do, or 2 feet away from it like we do.
I forgot about that. That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, good times. Well, anyway, that's kind of our rant on that. I did last night jump into a TIE Fighter in VR and had some fun with some Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, so give us the first look on the Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't know if it would excite me to play regularly now that I played it in VR, because you just jump in and it's like, you played the experience on Battlefront that I had for a little bit. Did you play that?
Yes.
Where you're in the TIE Fighter and you're doing that. It's basically that poured into a whole game with multiplayer functionality, and it's cross-play with every device it's on, and PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So,
wow.
But yeah, just playing some of the story last night, it was super fun. Too. I'm going to get the PlayStation joystick and the booster eventually, but they sold out yesterday. I was going to grab it yesterday along, and it sold completely out online. So I'll grab it when it comes back. But it's cool. And for the price point, I bought it for $33 at Walmart to play that game, and it's just a starfighter, and it's cool. Like, once I get into the multiplayer, and I would like to play with like you guys too. That's why I sent you that. I was like, hit me up if you guys play, because I'll join. I can play it on console too. So, but it's cool, like, because you're sitting in the thing with the headset on, but you feel like you're sitting in a TIE Fighter and you're looking around and all this, and then you can kind of like, it kind of whacks you out, because especially when you're in the X-Wing, because you're flying around in the X-Wing and you start shooting lasers, and you look over at your blaster and you can see those lasers coming straight out of your blaster, right next to these huge lasers, and then if you're looking straight, you see them where they aim it in the right place. But yeah, so I think it's a really well-made game, and they went for a mission to try to do one thing, and they've done it right at a good price point for what the game is too. So having fun with that so far, and the reviews online too have been pretty good with it.
I've seen nothing but good things from it, so I'm glad you're having a good time with it.
Yeah, and like I said, I think going back and playing it regular just on a console, like without the VR, would kind of bum me out a little bit. Just after you play the VR experience, but also you got to be careful, because the game like that can make you pretty motion sickness. Like, I got a little motion sick, but like as soon as I took it off and had to go do something else, I was totally fine. So I wasn't like whacked out the rest of the night or anything, but I was definitely I got a little too intense and spinning around and like, oh, where do I go?
That's awesome.
It's fun. It's cool, because they've really translated that experience over to a full game, and it's cool looking around in the X-Wing or the TIE Fighter, just like looking around in the ship, and seeing things. And there's also modes where you can play with the HUD, which is all your instruments, or you don't have to play with the HUD, which makes it like a little bit of an easier type gameplay. So there's two kind of things. I just did kind of the easier one to just get into it, but I think I'm going to try it with the harder part, where you really have to you have to be more involved in the workings of the ship as you're playing,
right?
Which is cool. So
that's cool, man. It's pretty crazy. I mean, we haven't heard anything about the next generation of VR for PlayStation.
No, they've just said that the VR is totally gonna work with PlayStation 5, the one you have right now, which is cool. I think that's neat.
I mean, it's just like there's not going to be VR2 from PlayStation yet. It's just going to translate over, and they're not really working on anything new right now, are they?
They haven't said anything, but I can't see them not working on anything new. I think it's kind of one of those things. I was listening to a developer talk the other day, and they were likening like releases to like a path. Like for instance, building like a building, right, and leaving it totally with no pathways on it. If people are moving along those different buildings on like a school campus or something, they're going to make those pathways. So you're going to kind of see where you need to go with stuff. And
that's true.
I feel like that's how developers do a lot in, how they release games and how they edit games and things like that too. So
yeah, I mean, I can't see them, at least if they see a need for it or desire, them not doing a second iteration of it, especially because. Yeah, they I mean the HTC Vive and the what's the other one? They've had updates to them, and they're pretty massive, like resolution updates and like I think one of the biggest ones that after I've played yours a good bit that I think I would like to see it from a new one is like the form factor, because a couple of the other companies are just literally like a little like these small earmuffs or like sound. And then just like pretty much like a light visor that's like a lot lighter and then just covers your eyes. So, because the one thing I didn't like, it's not that it was like horrible, but it's definitely, it's heavy and it gets me like sweaty. It's so hot.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I'm saying?
I'm like, I have to like I turn down the AC and turn on the fan.
Have the fan on.
Yeah. And it's a big deal to like kind of set up too. Like it's like you got to plug in some cords and all this. And I like the idea of a wireless VR too. So
it's smaller.
Yeah, I want them to build something that's going to be more conducive to the user. But with that said, I really think they hit the nail as far as console VR, like a VR system. So yeah, I still love it. I love playing it, playing Iron Man. Jumping in and playing that last night was a totally different experience because I played a little bit first just on the TV, and then jumping in and playing it VR was a totally different experience. Changed it for me in a much more exciting way.
That's cool. Yeah, I
love that stuff. Just bring me some Zoids VR, bro. That's all I need in my life.
If I ever got like massively rich, like billionaire status, just for random reasons, like I would just be like, who's going to build me this Zoids VR game? But it has to have the original like story and the characters where I'm like hopping in Liger Zero, just running around, dude.
Also, the chair that feels just like a Zoid.
Oh yeah, but I want the one where it's just like a double, like this one where he's like going where he's going back and forth this way, or like just two joystick controllers, and I would give you a couple million to develop that if I had it.
Let's do it.
Oh man.
But anyway, it's all fun, and it's all like a lot of there's a lot of just like goodness I feel like in the gaming horizon, and like especially with this year has just shown gaming has just thrived over everything this year just because of everything that's happened with Corona and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's awesome. And like I said, I'm not totally out on Stadia. I just wish they would do some things better with it. So as far as marketing and movement,
I want to give, even me, like, because, you have it now, and I'm like, I probably should just get it and try it out. But it's just like when I compare it to what's, Xbox and the xCloud are doing, or the next iteration of even like Amazon's doing their thing, it's just like, will it have a place after all of these products come out? I don't know. If they step it up big time, maybe. I'm not opposed. I like the idea of what they're doing is so cool. But if you don't have support from good games, and if you don't have crossplay, you're not going to make it. And all these other consoles, they're like, we're gonna give you crossplay. Yeah, we're gonna have like these awesome new games that are these games that you can't get anywhere else. Like our controllers are fine. I know Stadia's controller is good, but
which by the way, like Stadia does have a lot of crossplay. Most of their big titles are crossplay, except for Avengers, because that's a developer thing. The Avengers developers haven't added crossplay for anything. So which is a bummer. Because I was like, well, we can play that, and then Weston can get it on PC, and he can play with us there. And they're like, no crossplay. I was like, Darn it.
Yeah. The interesting thing about all that too is just the support in general, because I looked at how many games are out on Stadia right now, and it's a short list. It's not. It's decent, but it's not enough for me to go, man, there's
I really want to pay for
500 500 games. Oh, 500 games, that's worth $10, $15 a month. And half of them are free, and then the other half are you have to pay an extra $5 for premium or something. Just whatever. It's just there's just not enough there for me, I don't think. Especially because just all these everyone else, like Sony, Microsoft, PC, like Nintendo, they're all doing it so well that I'm like, I don't know. I just don't see a reason right now.
Right on.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
I feel the same.
I have a trivia question without doing trivia for you.
Okay.
So what do you think the biggest franchise in general in the world is? Like sold the most games, toys, just everything, like the highest grossing franchise.
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Games. It would be a game franchise or like a collectibles franchise, like one of the big ones.
Is it My Little Pony?
So
I feel like it's something obscure like that.
Yeah, I want to see. Let me see if I can pull up. I forgot to pull these statistics up. I was gonna ask. I knew I was gonna ask you this question, but I didn't know if because for instance, I know one of the top 3 or top 5 is like Hello Kitty, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, right. I feel like I've heard this before, but I can't think of I thought it was something obscure like My Little Pony or something. Care Bears, Pokemon.
Yeah, it's Pokemon.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense.
So right, like I think as of right now, it's grossed $92 billion since 1996.
Yikes!
Like I'm trying to think what and then Hello Kitty is the second one, and it's grossed $80 billion.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, but like Pokemon's such like a multi-threat, of everything. They've got toys, they've got games, they've got movies, they've got TV shows, they've got card games, board games. Just a little.
Yeah. But think about this. Like, I think maybe another one on down the list is Star Wars. So when you're up against Star Wars, who's only done 65 billion, and you've done 15 billion more than them, it's just it's so cool. And even like you think Mario's in there obviously, and Harry Potter, like all these other things that are like really really mega, these mega franchises, they're just nowhere near Pokemon, which I think is really cool. And that's why, like, I know we were kind of started the podcast with talking about collectibles and Pokemon cards, stuff like that. So it's a good time to be, or it's always been a good time to be a Pokemon fan, but it's just, there's a reason.
Yeah, for sure. That made me think as well, the studio that builds a lot of tabletop games in general, but especially the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, they announced this week they're going to be doing a 5th edition compatible D&D Power Rangers themed tabletop, which is wild.
Really?
Yeah, and then another deck building game as well. That they're coming out with. They've got a huge deal with Hasbro to do a bunch of brands, but it's those two they announced. I was like, what? Like 5th edition compatible D&D Power Rangers game. I was like, I guess I have to start a new podcast now.
Oh man, that sounds pretty fun. I don't think you're in the scope with or like on this Discord channel with me, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of guys in Georgia that play D&D like every week.
Yeah,
like online like through Discord. Like I'm always like, hey man, you want to play, you want to play Among Us? And they're just like, yeah, we're D&D. Actually about to start a D&D campaign. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm like I want to do this, but I just don't know if I'm like,
cut out for it.
Cut out for this adventure, like
take my gym time away.
I mean, the funniest things you say that, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I can spend 5 hours on this D&D campaign. I'm gonna have to work out before this. It's man, it's great to be a little bit of a interesting. We're obviously all nerds here on the podcast, but we also, gotta hit the gym and be fit old men. So
heck yeah, man, I'm trying. trying to catch up with you.
Man, I'm just trying to. I just bought a pack of Dr. Pepper because I haven't had soda or sugary soda. Like we have Zevia, which is like stevia soda, but yeah, I'm sure a little Waterloo, exactly what you're drinking right now, like the soda water and stuff. But I haven't had like an actual, I haven't bought a 6 or 12 pack of soda and I don't know how long. But I did it today and I feel a little guilty, so I might have to go work out after this. But it was very delicious.
I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt that says "Headed to the gym."
Headed to the gym. You know, it's so funny.
I'm doing after this,
my wife
right
saw that.
There.
Yeah, my wife saw that and was like, "I need to buy this for you," and I'm like, "Yes." And then they didn't have my size.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, they have it at the local shop here in town. That's where I got it.
Did is that a medium or a large? Which one you wearing?
But they had it.
It's a medium.
Yeah. Still scrawny little guy.
I was about to say I don't think my shoulders, my top half fits in the medium.
Since I've been working out, I've been getting a little tighter.
Getting a little tighter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's starting to. So it's good. It's getting less tight down here and more tight up here, which is good.
Dude, that's the best. Hey, you're doing work in the gym when the top of your shirts and around the arms and around the chest start fitting tighter and the bottom half is loose. That's when you know. That's when you're having to buy those athletic fits where like all the top is like way, it's like a way broader and bigger and the bottom is tighter. That's when you know you're putting in work.
Yeah, even my wife, she's like, "Man, I can tell a difference." I'm like, "Good,
yeah,
working. That's what I'm here for." Nah.
You're like, "That's right."
I'm like flexing. I'm like, "Ooh."
Oh, dude, just wait. You're gonna start. You're gonna start just being as ridiculous as I am.
I mean, I work out every day, and I come up here on like Saturday nights, Sunday nights after my kids go to bed. So.
No, I said I'm not talking about as ridiculous as working out. I'm talking about like just acting as ridiculous as I am.
Oh, right.
As a human being.
I mean, I think when we get together, we're like the most ridiculous people on the planet.
Oh, facts.
I definitely. Michelle's just like, oh gosh, I have it in for me because my kids are equally as ridiculous as I am, and we just cut up in our like. Even my 1.5-year-old super goofy. She's just like. These boys, they're gonna drive me insane, but she loves us. It's endearing at the same time. So
oh man, dude, whenever people like I remember I was talking to either my sister or my mom, and they've known me forever, so they're like, I was talking to them and I was just making them laugh about, I was talking about another friend of ours, and I made a joke. Well, I always just try like my stand-up material, like if I would ever gonna go and just do some stand-up. I made a joke about how like one of our other friends who's like, so secluded with coronavirus, like they have to go through him before they leave the house, like they're allowed and stuff. And I called him David Koresh. And I was just like, I was describing to him how, like, I was describing to my mom how basically, like, if you think about the parallels between him and David Koresh, like, it's basically the same. Just wait till like the FBI starts knocking on his door because, like someone calls and says we can't leave without consulting the second coming of Christ and all this stuff. And she was trying not to laugh because she is like she's trying not to, but she's dying laughing and just saying, you're so ridiculous, but she's laughing, and I was like, yeah, I'm so ridiculously funny because you're obviously laughing. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like, I know that Michelle, like, we get together and she's just shaking her head, and so does Sierra, but you know what, they're over in the corner laughing, so
and they love it. They love it. It's fine. Yeah,
they do.
Life would be a lot more boring if we weren't around. That's for dang sure.
Yes. Sierra my wife has a board that she changes like different sayings every couple weeks or month. And like the best one that I've seen this past year was like, you make my life fun, I make you safe. Like, cause she makes me feel safe and secure, and I make her, or like, she's like, you make my life wild, I make your life safe, something like that. And I was like, that is just the most accurate thing I've seen on that board this entire year.
Done. Finally, put something good up there. No, I'm just playing.
Well, one of them was like, it was in the back of the toilet, and it says like, sit your ass down or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty funny too.
That's funny. Oh man. Well, anyway, this has been a good chat. Glad to be back with a little bit of a different format here. It just felt easier, felt fun to talk. Hope everybody enjoyed this pretty lengthy conversation here.
Yeah. Hey, man, we need to start giving out our socials. I know that's something that we haven't really done, and of course, I know that they're gonna like if this ever goes up on the YouTube channel, they can be linked below. But tell us where people can find you, kind of personally, if you have something like that, and then also where the YouTube is, or the main YouTube and stuff like that.
I would say personally, hit me up on Twitter, Mason T Merrill. That's my personal account. But you can go to on Instagram. You can hit us up on Beyond Average Nerds, and on Twitter it's ban_cast. So,
yep, ban_cast. That's something that we both kind of manage, and we'll look at, and we'll love to reply to you, or send us if you see something, and tweet at us, and we'll retweet it and look at it, or whatever it is. And then my YouTube channel is youtube.tv or .com/TrainerWes, and I have Pokemon cards there, and I have man, I have some in the tank right now that I just haven't edited, but there's pretty much soap and Pokemon cards. We'll do more, and then if you want to follow me at twitch.tv/StreetFoxPK for Pokemon, because man, who doesn't love Pokemon? Those are the two things that were over there, and I'm streaming not consistently, but definitely a couple days a week for 5 hours at a time. So come and hang out with us, and we'll do some good stuff. But yeah, twitch.tv.com/StreetFoxPK, and we'll have a good time. We're gonna be doing more video content for the podcast as well. That will be posted on the YouTube.
On the YouTubes. You can look at ours at our YouTube, or mine. I guess I run it. It's Not the Average Nerd. We were kind of ping-ponging some names, and I think I was just gonna keep it Not the Average Nerd, and just kind of separate it, so it's it's not directly linked to the podcast, but that's where podcast material will go in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yours, so anyway, we're back, and did we decide if we're going to do this twice a month, or are we going to try to do it weekly?
Yeah, I think we're just going to shoot for twice a month, and we recorded this on a Saturday, just kind of spur the moment thing, and if we do ones in between, that'll be wonderful. But if you're part of if you're subscribed on Apple or Spotify or anything else like that, you're going to get a notification, or it's going to be on there anyway. But we're going to be on definitely an every other week schedule up until things maybe calm down for us, or the new year. Everyone's traveling, and weddings for my family, and just some other stuff. So we're going to go for every other week. If we get some episodes in between, definitely not going to hate on that. But right now.
Yep, and I'd love to, if you have any suggestions, things you want to talk about, like we're still down to review a retro game one week, and one of these days we're gonna have Aaron on here, and we're gonna talk about some Batman Returns, since he had such a strict opinion on it that he didn't ever watch it last time we talked. So I'm still gonna hunker him down, and we're gonna talk that one day, and just some different things too. So it may not always be the latest and the greatest with the gaming news. We just wanted to kind of do a catch-up episode today, and talk about some stuff.
Yeah, man, good. So I'm legitimately so excited that we're back, and I'm kind of sad we kind of had a lot of stuff going on, but it's cool. Oh, I have one other thing to ask you is, and maybe we can just movie review this next time, but you watched the new Digimon animation movie.
I did. Yes, and it. I want you to watch it before I spoil it. So
okay,
I want to get your opinion too. So maybe we'll talk about that next pod.
Sounds good.
We'll get down on that a little bit, because I have some thoughts on it, and Anyway, I want you to watch it first. So.
Okay, yeah, beautiful. I'm happy to watch it. You sent it to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. Yeah. And the problem with my life at this point is being our age, and just with responsibilities, is if I don't write something down, hey, watch Digimon later, it's kind of sad if I don't do that, or if I have notifications that remind me when I'm home to I don't know, read this book or to do this class or whatever. And if I don't have that, I'll forget. I'll come home and just be a complete zombie and just forget to do something. So it's a good reminder.
Dude, just have kids and then have them obsess over these things. So I told Axel the other day that, the new Digimon movie's coming out, and I worked him up to it because he's really into Digimon, watching all the old episodes, and he's got the toys, and all this kind of stuff. And so literally every single day he asked me, like, Daddy, did the movie come out today? Does it come out today? I'm like, no, tomorrow. And then finally the day came, and at lunch, he was like, Daddy, the movie. I was like, right, downloading it right now. And then,
oh, that's awesome.
We watched it that night. Yeah, but anyway.
But
it's weird because, like, for him, like, being such a new Digimon fan, and we'll get into this next week a little bit more, but it's different. It's a different feeling for him because it's the last evolution. It's the end of the Tai story, right? So, it was different for him than it was for me since he's such a new fan. But 20 years for me of this franchise is definitely something. So I want you to watch it, and then we'll really get into it with a little spoiler review.
Is this sub only, or is there a dub version?
It's dubbed. Yeah, this is the one that came out.
Oh, it's dubbed?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of the original voice actors too. Yeah.
I was about to say, it's original. Like, do you like all the voice actors?
Yeah, Tai and Agumon and Izzy. A lot of them are the same. A lot of them have changed. Like the voice actor for Matt died actually a few years ago.
Aww.
So yeah, they've changed him up through some, but a lot of them from the Digimon tree are the same voice actors. So.
Oh, okay. Well, hey man, poor Matt. Like that's the homie right there. So
yeah.
That kind of stinks. But I'm glad it's nice. Obviously, just because with your son to watch dubbed, because obviously I know that eventually he'll like love subbed. And I know that you'll watch sub, but you don't particularly love it, do you?
We've been No, I don't love it. No, we've been watching the new Digimon Adventure. They rebooted it, and it's all subbed right now. They're working on a dub. Actually, they've announced that, so they're going to dub that whole series, which he's super stoked for. But he will sit there and actually watch it more than I will, just because he loves everything Digimon right now. Like any Digimon content he can get, he just loves it. And so sometimes I'll sit there and read the subs and like act them out to him, and he's like, this just got a lot better.
That's funny.
But yeah, anyway, so I'm looking forward to the reboot of that being dubbed, which is cool. So
that's beautiful. Well, hey, I'm 100%. I might actually just be downloading it right now. It's on iTunes then.
$15 on iTunes sold.
That's dude. Hey, you know the craziest thing? Pandemic. One of the worst things. I know we've talked about this before. I'm ready to go watch a movie in a movie theater, and man, I haven't in the last since the pandemic. So it's 6-8 months. But once we do, I'm gonna be enjoying life. So this is for $15 at your home.
Yeah. And there's been nothing out at all.
Tenet came out. I want to see Tenet.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The new Christopher Nolan one.
The X-Men movie. I'll watch it when it comes out on video, but the New Mutants got such trash review.
Is there a new X-Men movie that came out in the theaters?
Yeah.
What is it called?
New Mutants. It was the last of the Fox era. So before Disney kind of took it over, so they kind of trashed it, and just released it. You're like, whatever, we don't care.
Oh my goodness, 5.5 out of 10. Oh,
I saw worse than that when it came out, so that's actually better than I thought.
IMDb, this looks terrible. I don't want to watch this movie.
Originally, when they first started developing that, it was supposed to be this big deal that was like James McAvoy was going to be the guy.
McAvoy.
Sorry. Yeah. He was going to be the dude in the movie, be Professor X in the movie, and they just totally trashed it and made this, I don't even know why they released it, honestly, because it's
this looks horrible.
Just made a piece of crap and put it out, and the whole Fox changeover happened, and they're like, we're done with all this X-Men stuff anyway, because we're going to do our own MCU thing with it. So
Crazy.
Anyway.
All right, friend. This has been a good one.
Yeah, man. This will be back in probably 2 weeks with a new episode and some new stuff to talk about. And if you're a Digimon fan, definitely watch Last Evolution, and be ready for next week.
Yeah, we should send us your thoughts on Twitter. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, and we will see who is right and who is wrong. I'm probably going to love it, even if it's bad, to be honest with you, just because it's Digimon. But
it's not bad. Spoiler alert, it's not bad. It's just I want you to watch it before I spoil the entire thing. So. Yeah.
Spoiler alert is Netflix has they licensed the new season of Pokemon that they've brought to Netflix. and it is so good. The
Yeah.
Pokemon anime itself is a Netflix branded, and then they released it on Netflix. It is one of the best seasons of Pokemon since like one of the some of the older ones are really really good too. But it's just done so well, and Netflix got their hands on it, and I don't know if it's just the original, if it's the same one, just the original Japanese that they went to English, but it's wonderful. So
Oh,
if you're a
cool.
Pokemon and anime fan, or if you actually want to get something, just start watching the.
Yeah, it's funny. He likes watching the Indigo League, the original episodes. He's really into like the vintage cartoons, like Power Rangers, the first season, Digimon, the first season, Pokemon, the first season. It's funny. I'm like trying to get him to watch this new stuff, and he's like, I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
so it's kind of been cool to revisit some of that stuff, but like I do want to watch that new stuff. I'll probably just be like the 30-year-old dad up at night watching it by myself.
Yeah. Well, like some of the newer seasons of Pokemon, like the XY, they were hard to watch. Those seasons were a little rough. Like I like, even as the old dad type deal, like I don't mind them, and I still try to watch every season just to kind of see, or scroll through a couple episodes, and they were a little rough. But this new one I watched, and like I was like, man, this is good. It's actually good animation. It's just good voice acting. It's fun.
Also, Zoids Wild. That's another, if you're an anime guy, like I know you obviously love, but like if people listening, you should check out Zoids Wild on Netflix because they've licensed that stuff too.
Yeah, it's I'm just like 4 episodes in, so I haven't gotten all of it, but it's fun.
Yeah, we finished the first season. It's cool, and I'm excited about the new toys too.
So since you've finished, sorry, we should probably wrap up. But since you finished the first season, where do you place it between the Chaotic Century and the new
third
new century?
Third. Yeah. It's not as good as the old like the Bit Cloud, or no, the Bit Cloud was second for me, but the Van and Fiona thing, oh dude, don't get me started. That's my favorite, and I know you like the other one, so it's pretty cool like that we both have such different takes on it all.
I think Chaotic Century was really, really good. It was just more of like a story. It was a storyline, which honestly, objectively, probably was better. But the Bit Cloud, New Century was just absolutely like, I literally rewatched that probably a month ago because they're all on YouTube, and you can watch them literally within like 2 nights because I just do something else and have them in the background, and it's still like there's moments you're just like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah, I love the one when they go to the beach and then they have to use the underwater Zoids to go like.
Oh yeah, they find the ultimate
episodes.
X, and dude, there's so many good episodes. Ooh. And I remember just being like, I was like yelling like, yeah, and my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching Zoids.
Yeah, it's like Wild's definitely third just because I love those series, but like the whole Van and Fiona, the love story with it all, and how it all comes together in the Chaotic Century is just, it's like this epic war that's going on. It makes you feel like the world's so big, I just love it.
It is, yeah. It's definitely more of like a fuller story of like almost like a book versus like a comic. Mm-hmm. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, I just wish they would put all that. Maybe like since Hasbro has all the licensing now, maybe they'll finally get all that stuff over here on like iTunes or like Vudu or Amazon or whatever, because they don't have it in any digital form anywhere, which is frustrating.
Yeah, except bootlegged on YouTube.
Bootlegged on YouTube, which I'm going to hit some of that up this week because I was thinking about that the other day because I was looking for them because I would have bought all the seasons like last week, but I was like, they don't have any of this digitally anywhere. This is frustrating.
It's so weird. Yeah, at least just put it out there and make some money from like some random people, but I don't know. It's just a licensing BS. Yeah, they're
having like a kind of a revival right now too, though, which is cool. So, and Hasbro is really bringing a lot of stuff. So I hope they even bring it to Netflix. That'd be cool. Because Hasbro owns Power Rangers and Zoids and all those different things now, and they're really doing stuff because they formed their own entertainment company. So they're now just going to be starting to produce all that stuff in house now for the U.S., which is cool.
Beautiful.
All right,
man.
Well, I guess until next time.
Until next time.
Day figure out how to end a show.
I think we just say until next time.
Thanks again for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ban_cast. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Beyond Average Nerds. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And tune in every other Friday for new episodes.